Participation in an oral performance can be transformative in ways that reading a text can never achieve. While Sandy does not discount the importance of rigorous and robust exegesis, he coaxes us to see a bigger picture, one that will allow us to seek to be transformed by Scripture as we find our place in an audience of hearers who experience the text, not just analyze it or excerpt from it. May we all become better interpreters by seeking to be better hearers. Part 1. Setting the Stage. Proposition 1. Oral culture can be a lost world. We were never born to read. Mary Ann Wolfe. Imagine a world without words. In place of babies' first words, endless gurgling. In place of people conversing, a few hand signals. In place of broadcasts and podcasts, silence. Actually, according to Genesis 1, in place of us, a blank canvas, a world without form and void. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. We wonder, would even God be the same without words? John chapter 1, verse 1. The reality is, words are part and parcel of who we are. But what if words are only oral? Nothing inscribed on rock, potsherds, or page. Imagine trying to get along in today's world without reading and writing, and texting. The French have a common expression, je n'ai qu'une parole, which literally translated is, I have only one word. It's not that they know only one word. The point is the same as when we say in English, I give you my word. Or we can also say, I'll take your word for it. In either case, the spoken word is enough, writing unnecessary. Note that different words can convey the same idea, and they can point to a function beyond what appears on the surface. Jesus declared that yes or no is all that's needed in certain situations. Matthew chapter 5, verse 37. More than that, he considered the words he spoke, inspired by no less than the Father himself and backed by his actions, to be adequate for the most important exchange of information of all time, his own divine revelation. John chapter 8, verse 28, and chapter 12, verse 50. For most of us, that doesn't compute. If we didn't have the truth in written form, especially the words of Jesus, which we can scrutinize, memorize, plaster on the wall, we'd feel slighted, shortchanged, even unsure about what the revelation was all about. After all, aren't reading and writing an obvious advancement over the oral alternative? But not so fast. Plato, 4th century BC, and other ancient philosophers questioned the value of written words in place of oral ones, especially for communicating important ideas. Socrates, 5th century BC, and the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, 2nd century AD, are examples of Greco-Roman philosophers who wrote nothing when they surely could have. We only know about their philosophies through what their students recorded. Why? Because they considered teaching via written words inadequate. In what ways? We won't understand all the reasoning, since most of us are deeply immersed in the culture of reading and writing. But for them, personal interaction and give and take with students was essential for communicating profound concepts. And since reading skills and backgrounds varied, teachers cannot count on the ideas expressed in writing to be adequately understood by all readers. Even more, if students had written versions of a philosopher's thinking, they might not read carefully and think through the concepts sufficiently, missing important parts. Students might also neglect the necessary step of applying philosophy to their life situations, something philosophers could better encourage in face-to-face discussions. Nonetheless, some philosophers did write, Aristotle and Epictetus, and sought to recreate in written form ways they would orally lead students into deep discussions. The result was the dialogue and symposium forms of philosophical essays. Plato is a case in point. All but 2 of his 27 writings were dialogues. The essays featured dramatic argumentation with hypothetical participants discussing philosophical issues. For example of an oral preference in more recent times, we could explore numerous cultures around the world. In the case of early Americans in our country, to Native people, oral speech was more trustworthy than written words.